uh, let us start the session. Okay. So we were here yesterday. We were talking about includes relationship, right? And now today, yes. So today we will start with extend relationship. One second. Okay. Now, like include, unlike include was, it was compulsory. Include means it's a compulsory relationship, right? It's not optional. तो अगर आप किसी use case को include कर रहे हो, तो it is not optional, right? But when you talk about extends relationship, so extends relationship actually denotes a optional use case. So how do you use it? So basically, let's go back to PPT. So if I see this particular, if I read this particular use case, so here my base use case is complete. What is my base use case? My base use case is this bank ATM transaction. Now it means that if I require help, so help is one more use case. If I require help, then I will use the help use case. If I don't need it, so it is not compulsory, right? So if I connect this bank ATM transaction, so supposingly if I have this system boundary, and if I have this transaction as one of my use case, and if I connect this transaction with this actor, let's say customer, right? And if I have another use case which is called help, so now my, in include the arrow was opposite. If you see in include में हम ऐसे करते थे, ठीक है? This is the include relationship. So that means that whenever a customer wants to do a transaction, first he has to take help and then only do the transaction, right? तो include का मतलब ये हो जाएगा. But of course, logically, it is not true. Logically, I don't need to take help always. So I will do what? I will create a extends relationship. So how will I do that? So now my arrow changes. Extends relationship mean arrow is always towards base case. So now my arrow changes and I will put a extend over here. So when you are writing a include relationship, your arrow is always towards which use case? Towards included use case, right? Not towards base use case. And when you are writing a extends relationship, your arrow is towards base use case. So please remember that, because there is this confusion is always there. Okay, so now if I want to take help, so I will use that use case. If I don't want, so this particular use case is basically your optional use case. Okay, it is optional use case. So that is why base use case is complete. What are concrete classes you have studied in Java, right? Concrete classes and abstract classes. So concrete classes means they are complete on their own. They have their entire implementation. And abstract classes are the one which does not have the implementation, right? So it's written base use case is complete. Here when you see it's written base use case is incomplete, which is abstract. So in order to make the base use case complete, you need to first use the included use case, and then only your base use case will become complete. Here, base use case is complete, which is concrete by itself, that is defined independently. Extending use case is optional, it is supplementary. So I hope you understood the difference between extends and includes. Now, if we go back to our, so we can say that help includes transaction, Uh, no, if you are writing help includes transaction, अगर आप help यहाँ पर include लिखोगे, supposingly, if you write here include, that means you have to connect this to here. That means every time you need to do help, you need to do a transaction. So it's not the same. No, if you change the arrow, you change the keyword, it will become same. No, it's not like that. You need to read it in a different way. Manish, I hope it's clear. Okay. So now if we go back to our diagram, which we were talking about yesterday. So we were here, right? View items, right? We were here at view items. And then I said that in view items, you can have multiple options, right? You can search for item, you can add to shopping cart, you can, add to wish list, you can view recommended items. So can you see everything is extends now? Because all are not compulsory. So whenever I am performing this use case, view items, I right? I can search the item, I can browse the item, I can add to shopping cart also, I can add to wish list also, I can view recommended items also. And if I don't want to do anything, then also it's fine. Optional means या तो फिर करो या तो फिर मत करो, ठीक है? Can we say that exclude? Harshal, first of all, it's not exclude, it's extend. Extend indicates what other functionalities does ones have under one particular. Yeah, you can say that, right? Now, when you read this one, now just read this one. So what is it is saying that in order to view a recommended item, you need to first do customer authentication. Okay, recommendations, of course, we will get recommendations on the basis of our past history of searching things, right? So basically, you need to do customer authentication. And in order to add to wish list also, you need to do customer authentication, right? In order to add to shopping cart, customer authentication is what? It is optional according to this diagram. Okay, so it's not necessary that you have to convince with this diagram. According to this diagram, if I read this diagram, add to the shopping cart requires customer authentication. If you want, you can make it include as well, as per your definition, right? As per your definition, if you want, you can make it include. Is it fine? Did you understand the meaning of include and extend? Please let me know so that we can go further with generalization. Yes, okay. Now, okay, when you're talking about, yes, Harshal, please tell what is about. You can write in the chat box, Harshal. Till that time, I'll do something else. So, when you read this particular, so Harshal, that's what I said. That if I read this diagram, then it is saying that let's say when I want to add to the shopping cart, customer authentication is not compulsory, it is optional, right? Logically, it doesn't make sense. Of course, you need to make it include. That's what I said. So yeah, so I am just talking about the diagram which I am explaining. Might not be logical. According to the person who has made this diagram, this is correct. So it is up to you, right? So for your project, you can make it include because logically include is correct. Okay. Now, when you're talking about this extend relationship, there's one more thing called this extension points, right? What are these extension points? So again, this is the same kind of concept. So registration, if I want to do, get help on registration is extends, right? But now whenever we are making a extends relationship, only with extends, okay, not with includes. In terms of extends relationship, you can put an extension point. Now, what is this extension point? So please read this. So I have written registration and then I have written extension point registration help. Okay. Now, what this extension point? So of course, its notation would be something like this. So you have to put a circle in between, right? So this is your exchange relationship. You have to put a circle in between, and then you need to put a dotted line and make a a rectangle kind of structure. And what you have to write it over here is the condition. Now, what this condition is basically showing, this condition is showing that I will use get help on registration on what condition? So because it is optional, right? Because it is optional, that's why it's not compulsory that I have to use it. But if I am using it, at what condition I will use it? So what is the condition over here? User clicked on help link, right? So my condition is if my user clicks on the help link, then only I am going to go and use this optional use case. तो दिस एक्सटेंशन पॉइंट का नाम दिया है विच इज रजिस्ट्रेशन हेल्प. ठीक है. सो एक एक्सटेंशन, दिस इज कॉल्ड एक्सटेंशन पॉइंट. ओके. सो इस एक्सटेंशन पॉइंट का नाम दिया है रजिस्ट्रेशन हेल्प. So that same thing you will write over here, and then you will put a condition that because it is a optional relationship, optional use case, so when will I use it? Only when the user clicks on help link. So includes may, of course, I don't need to put such kind of extension points because includes may it is compulsory. So I don't need to put extension points. But when I am using extends relationship, I need to tell that when I am going to use that optional use case. So whenever this condition is satisfied, this particular condition which is written over here, it is satisfied, then I am going to go and use this optional use case. Am I clear with this extends relationship entirely? Please let me know. Can I get an answer from everyone? Okay, great. So now we will move on to our last topic of use case, which is generalization. So do you remember your inheritance part in Java? Right? What is inheritance? Dhruvi, I will repeat extension point. Let me first finish generalization. I'll repeat after that. Okay. So inheritance is, yeah. So basically you are deriving from your parent class. Can I say that it denotes types, right? Types of something. Let's say you have vehicle as your parent class. Then I will say that car and bike and truck, they all are my subclasses. So we always say that car is a type of vehicle, right? This is how we say it. Okay, so now this concept basically is called your inheritance. In terms of software engineering, it is called as generalization. And it is represented by this notation. Right? Now, this generalization you can use in use cases also, and generalization can be used with actors also. Okay, so if we go back to our diagram like this. So bank ATM transaction. So bank ATM transaction के कितने types हो सकते हैं? So only one type right now is represented, which is withdraw cash. Right? So if I'm doing a transaction, withdraw cash, and then let's say changing the PIN, all these are, let's say, checking the balance. All these are what? These are transactions, right? So either you can represent it in a transaction, or you can represent PIN separately and check balance separately. It is up to you, right? But withdrawing cash is one of the transaction, so it is a type of that transaction, right? So base use case should be abstract use case because it is incomplete, or it can be complete as well. Inheritance में भी ऐसा ही होता है ना कि it might be concrete, it might be abstract. In case of abstract, you have to put um, compulsory inheritance, right? Because the deriving classes will give implementation. And if it is concrete class, the parent class is concrete, still you can do inheritance, right? So specialized use case is required, it is not optional if base use case is abstract, right? So now when you are talking in terms of diagrams, so if you see over here, here is my first generalization. So basically, who is my parent class here? My parent class is this web customer. Now I'm just showing that web customer can be of two types. One is a registered customer and second is a new customer. So this is one generalization which is shown in terms of actors. Now, when you're talking in terms of use cases, there is another generalization which is shown over here. So payment is my base class or parent class. I will say in terms of generalization, I'll say that it is my parent class. And now I'm showing that it can be done by two ways. So payment by credit and payment by PayPal, right? So again, I'm showing what it is a type. So when you want to show different types of a main use case, you will show it by means of generalization. And please note that, like here also, a customer authentication is there, and then you are having three types by which you can do that. One is user sign-in, second is remember me, third is single sign-on. So again, these are three types. So three types I can do customer authentication. That is how you will read it, right? And it should not be opposite arrow, okay? Don't make it like this. Supposingly I have done return payment over here, and if I have, let's say, GPay, and let's say I have credit card, right? So it should be this side. So it should be directed towards your parent class, not the opposite way. Opposite way would be wrong. Is it clear to everyone what is generalization? Can I get a response? There can be more than one generalization? Yes, there can be. Like more parent class for one child? No, that's not possible. This UML again is object oriented. So whatever concepts are there of object oriented programming, that will remain in UML as well. Okay, UML diagrams these are basically called UML diagrams. There are many names. So it is also called as system model, and then it is also called as UML diagrams. UML diagrams means unified modeling language, and unified modeling language is object oriented. So whatever concepts are applied in an object-oriented language, same concepts would be present over here when you are drawing a diagram as well. Okay, coming to who was asking? Yeah, Dhruvi's question. Can you repeat extension point? Okay. So extension point, Dhruvi, this particular use case which is present over here, that is get help, it is optional, right? If I want to get the help, I will get it. Otherwise, I will not use the use case. That's why I have put a extends relationship. Whenever you are putting an extends relationship, you need to put an extension point. What this extension point will tell you is when will I use the uh, get help use case. in what conditions, under what circumstances, under what situations, right? So that condition should be represented by means of extension point. So if I read this particular entire diagram, I will read it in this way, that whenever a user is doing registration, if he clicks on if he clicks on the help link, then the get help on registration use case would be taken into consideration or would be activated. Otherwise, the get help on registration use case is not used. That is the meaning of extension point. Okay, great. Anybody else who has a doubt with use case diagrams? So I have given multiple use case diagrams in the this particular use case diagram in it's taken from umldiagrams.org. So this is also a good site for checking out UML diagrams. So this is a UML diagram for hospital management. So only one UML use case diagram is represented. So in hospital management, uh, so only right now just one. Yes. One more thing I wanted to tell you is that whenever you are making a use case diagram, you can make it use actor wise also and use case wise also. Just a second. Right. So whenever you are making a use case diagram, you can make it actor wise as well. What do I mean by actor wise? So if you have three actors in your system, in your project, like let's say one actor is student, another actor is faculty, and third actor is, let's say, admin, then you can make a use case diagram where all the student interactions are shown. All the requirements of student that can be shown in a single use case, and then again that concept is valid, that if you have more you have more functionalities, then you show sub use cases. So either you can show it actor wise or you show it use case wise, like the previous one that we talked yesterday. You can show that wise also. So if you are showing actor wise, that means in one use case only one actor would be present, and it would be this actor oriented, means all the requirements of student would be present in that use case, right? And same goes for faculty and same goes for admin. But when you're talking about use case wise, then it is possible that all the three actors are present in a use case diagram, right? So it is up to you. Either you do it this wise or you do it this wise. Okay. So um, then yesterday we made diagram. Let me go back to that. Yes. So we have completed this part, which is use case diagram. Now I will show user stories. User stories I have already shown you once, but I will. Tanisha, actor wise means that if a student has, when you have made SRS, so you must have list down the requirements of student, right? Let's say you have listed down 10 requirements of student. So you can make a single use case where all the 10 use cases are present and connected with student. And then if you have sub functionalities for a use case, then make a separate use case for that. Like if suppose I have five requirements or four requirements, let's say A1, A2, A3, A4. So I will create only student over here and I will connect with all, right? And then if A1 has other functionalities, then I will create a next use case only for A1. So again, student will only come, right? No other actor will come. तो A1 होगा यहाँ पे और फिर उसके साथ या तो फिर इंक्लूड रिलेशनशिप लगेगा दूसरे यूज केसेस का, या जनरलाइजेशन लगेगा, या एक्सटेंड लगेगा। ठीक है ना, यूज केसेस के बीच में आप सिर्फ तीन ही लगा सकते हो, एक्सटेंड, include and generalization. So if whenever you want to connect, you cannot directly connect like this. Association is not possible between two use cases. You have to use any of the three relationships between when you are connecting two use cases. So this is what, this is all actor wise. ऐसे ही faculty का बनेगा, ऐसे ही admin का बनेगा. So this is the meaning of actor wise. Is it clear, Kanisha? So yes, so this is a diagram of a hospital management system. So you know it is very much clear now. You know how to read the diagram. So you can do that later on whenever I'll send the PPT. Right now, I'll talk about user stories. Let me just find out the document for that. Give me 2 minutes. Okay, so Kanisha, I would do that. So this is the user story. User stories are also called as use case specifications, right? Now, I have already shown you this document when I was talking about requirements chapter. So for every use case that you are creating, right? Let's say that my particular online shipping has these many use cases. So for every use case that you are creating, you have to write a use case specification. This I had discussed with you when I was teaching requirement engineering chapter, where I showed you the basic flow and alternate flows and post condition and precondition, right? So when you are writing a use case specification, in use case specification, what you will write is, for every use case that you have created as a part of your use case diagram, first would be the first would be the name of the use case, right? Name of use case. Second would be the brief description, right? Brief description. That is self-explanatory. Third would be the actors who are involved with that use case. Fourth would be the basic flow. What is basic flow? I have told you basic flow means if everything is normal, like there is no error, everything is going smooth, there is no deviations which are happening, that is called basic flow, right? So if login is there, so what is my basic flow? That I have entered a correct username and then have entered a correct password, and then when I click on submit, my authentication is successful. That is my basic flow, right? And then I have alternate flows. Now alternate basic flow would be only one single, and alternate flows would be it would be more than one, right? It would be more than one, because let's talk about login itself. So what would be my one alternate flow? That my username is wrong, right? This can be my one alternate flow. Second alternate flow, I can have that my password is wrong. That can be my another alternate flow. Third alternate flow can be that I am not registered yet, still I am trying to do the registration, right? That can be my third alternate flow. Fourth alternate flow can be something like my submit button is not redirecting me to the designated page. That can be my fourth alternative flow. So what are alternate flows? Some errors which are happening, some deviations which are happening, because of which my basic flow is not working. That is called my alternate flow. So, when you are giving use cases, you need to give use case specifications as well, because whenever a coder is going to implement this, so all these alternate flows would be checked. That what if the first alternate flow is happening, what I need to do, what I need to code, what if second alternate flow is happening, what should I do? So that's why we write these alternate flows, right? And then you have uh, other two things. First is precondition, and next is post condition. So precondition means what? So let's talk about login itself. What is my precondition for login? That my registration, the customer or whatever the actor is, should be a registered user, right? So registration should be successfully completed. That is my precondition, right? What is my post condition? Post condition is, let's say that when I am successfully authenticated and my login is successful, so I am redirected to some XYZ page, right? That is my post condition. So this all should be from the point of view of that one single use case. Let's take example, which is login. So keeping into consideration this login use case, you need to write use case specification, which includes all these 7 points. Am I clear with what is use case specification? Any doubt over here? Okay, this you will get it in LMS. In LMS setters, I have uploaded it, use case diagrams and use case document. These are not completely correct, These are, I have just made it for the reference of a student. But ऐसा नहीं है कि you directly copy paste it, because they are not correct. जो मैं आपको अभी सिखा रही हूँ, you need to use those concepts. Is it fine? Okay. Now, so basically I have completed this also, which is use case user stories. I'll complete the activity diagram in Swimlane right now. So it's simple. Activity diagram is like a flowchart. Okay. So what you do in a flowchart, basically you show the entire flow of your system in a flowchart manner, right? So if I read this particular activity diagram, so this is my start button, right? This one is my start, and then this is my end. So I can have multiple ends, right? Depending upon the conditions that you have. So let me just convert this use case diagram into activity diagram. So what you have to do, basically, for every use case specification that you have created, how to understand it in a better way, that use case specification आपने जितने बनाए हैं, तो ऑफ कोर्स यूज केस स्पेसिफिकेशन आपने बनाया होगा, तो आपके पास उसमें बेसिक फ्लो भी होगा और ऑल्टरनेट फ्लो भी होगा, है ना? तो यू हैव अ बेसिक फ्लो, sorry, you have a basic flow and you have alternate flows for every use case that you are creating, every use case specification that you have made, right? So now you need to represent this basic flow and alternate flows in the representation of a flowchart. And this flowchart is called your activity diagram. Okay, so here if you see, you are starting, then you are writing enter username and password, right? Of course you know that diamond represents a condition, so you are checking the condition. You can write inside this as well, correct or incorrect password. If it is a correct password and ID, then what task is supposed to be done? If it is invalid, then what task is supposed to be done, right? So the entire alternate flow and basic flow that you have written as a part of your use case specification, Now you need to just convert it in form of flowchart, that is called your activity diagram. So I'm not saying that you should never create one single activity diagram. एक ही activity diagram अगर आप बनाओगे, it would be very big diagram and it is unnecessarily chaotic. So you should always create activity diagrams for the specifications you have written. So जितने आपने use case specifications लिखे हैं, आप उतने activity diagrams बना सकते हो. If you feel that your activity diagram, two activity diagrams are connected to each other, then you can connect them as well. Okay, so that is the concept, how you make it. If you are making just one single activity diagram, that's wrong. It would be, just imagine the flowchart of an entire system. It would be a very big flowchart, right? So that's why you should never make one single activity diagram. Make it use case wise. And if you feel that two activity diagrams can be connected to each other, means there is a flow which is happening, like login is something which is connected to all, right? So you can connect them with all the use cases, all the activity diagrams. And uh, if later on you feel that some of the requirements, some of the use case can be connected to each other and hence I can create one single activity diagram for 2-3 use cases, it's okay with me. Is it understood? Can I get a response from everyone? Okay. Now swim lane is again very simple. So what you do in swim lane, this, can you tell me this activity diagram is use case wise or actor wise? The representation of an activity diagram right now, if you see this activity diagram, are the actors involved over here? The actors are not involved, right? It is use case wise, it is requirement wise. But when you talk about swim lane diagram, just see the difference. It's the same activity diagram, but now all the three users are coming. So this is for smart home. This particular activity diagram was for smart home system. So in smart home system, we have found out that there are three actors: homeowner, camera, and interface. And now what you do is that this entire activity diagram, you convert it into swim lane. So what you do is that you create three sections. If you have three actors, create three sections. And then basically, if I read this particular diagram, I will come to know that, okay, this entire part is done by the homeowner. Only this much part is done by the camera. And this entire part would be done by the interface. That's how you read it. So when you see activity diagram, it is use case wise, means it's requirement wise. It doesn't talk about the actors at all, right? No actor is involved over here in activity diagram. But when I want to convert the same thing into actor wise, then I will make a swim lane diagram. जैसे मैंने आपको use case बोला कि use case diagram you can make it actor wise also and use case wise also, right? So जब आप सिर्फ requirements की बात कर रहे हो जहाँ पे आपके actors are nowhere involved, you will create what? You will create activity diagram. But at the same time, if my actors plus requirements are coming, then you will convert the same activity diagram into swim lane diagram just by shifting uh, the corresponding functionalities to the specific actor. So आपने सिर्फ यहाँ पे ये सेम ही है, अगर आप इसको if you match it, it's the same activity diagram, but now enter password and user ID कौन करेगा? होमओनर करेगा, तो वो होमओनर के पार्ट में आ जाता है. अभी नेक्स्ट मेरा क्या आ रहा है? कंडीशन चेकिंग, तो वो कौन करेगा? इंटरफेस करेगा. तो इसीलिए इट केम इनटू इंटरफेस, यू जस्ट नीड टू एक्सटेंड द एरो, मतलब कनेक्ट द एरो. So it's the same diagram, but now it is represented in a from the perspective of a actor. Please tell me if you have any doubt over here. So basically, we have covered this much part. So my scenario based model is over. My scenario based model is over, and now your next lab, uh, coming labs, I don't think you will have a problem. One is Gantt chart. Of course, Gantt chart will be taught to you in lab, but after Gantt chart, you have use case diagrams. So now, because I don't teach D4 batch, I wanted a common background for all the students. That's why I'm teaching it in the class, so that you all have the same concept, right? So now use case diagrams and user stories you can easily create. Okay, so next time I will start with this class-based modeling. Next lecture, which is Friday, that time I will teach class-based modeling. Mostly I will finish class diagram and CRC index cards. Right, so when you finish this requirement modeling chapter, basically you finish your entire concept of lab practicals, because now in your lab practicals you just have diagrams only, and last must be your implementation and testing. So that's fine, but this modeling chapter is very much important, right? So if you don't have any doubt, you can leave the session. If you have a doubt, please ask. Please upload the PPT and lecture recording. Yes, Rushir, I'll do that. I'll do that. Generally, I do it after the end of the chapter, but okay, I'll do that. Anything else? Should I end the session? So I'll be giving you your papers next week. I have my PhD exam on Saturday, so after that I will check and you'll get it by next week, right? Thank you, Harshal. Okay, I'm ending the session. Have a good day. Bye, everyone.